Hi, Jason Dixon with Newberger & Company for your training tip for Tuesday. I'm sure you've heard at some point that people make buying decisions for very emotional reasons, and this is absolutely true. The challenge that we run into with it is that sometimes in the heat of the moment, we as salespeople fall back into what is a more traditional sales role, which is here's our feature and benefits, here's the problems that it solves, and here's how much it costs. And that usually ends up, extending the sales cycle at the very least. At the very most, it usually ends up getting us, sort of niced out of the room. So we do know that there's tons of process, and we talk about it a lot about things like pain funnel and asking better pain questions, and really understanding what's at the root cause. The challenge, though, is that sounds like a lot of process, and we can talk about the idea of asking better questions and probing and really understanding the why behind it. But that comes with a lot of process. It comes with a lot of training. It comes with a lot of thought. If we really just slow down while we're in the sales process and internalize this a little bit and think about what would we need to know? What do we need to know that we can present to for this prospect that will get them emotional? And really what it boils down to is really understanding the context of the problem. And we skip through this sometimes when we're in the traditional sales role. We want to run quickly to the presentation. We want to put our products and services in front of them. But just imagine for a second, think back to junior high school, whether you're a man or a woman, think back to junior high school and think about a boyfriend or a girlfriend that broke your heart in junior high. Think about that moment. My guess is if I started asking you some questions about it, you could remember exactly the time of day that person broke your heart, told you that they were breaking up with you or that they didn't like you anymore. You could probably remember the time of day, maybe it was at lunch. You could probably even remember what he or she was wearing when they delivered that bad news. The reason for this is that memory is tied so closely to that emotion, and vice versa. Emotion is tied so closely to memory, they are forever interlinked. There's just a glue that holds them together. So if we can somehow find the context, if we can find out the reason for the pain that this person or a prospect is experiencing by asking questions like that, are really understanding the context behind this issue, the rest of the pain questions will just come naturally, and it'll turn into a much more of a conversation. My guess is as you were thinking back to that boy or girl that broke your heart, you were flooded with those emotions, and you probably could have talked about it for 5 or 10 minutes, very specifically and very detailed. It's the same thing in the sales process. We want to get our prospects in that same kind of mood and that same kind of emotion. Figure out what that context is. Be really interested in what the context is behind that problem that they're having. The questions that you need to ask will take care of themselves. Sure, you can follow a scripted process. Sure, you can spend a lot of time studying the buying habits of your target market. Just be interested in the context as to why that person is having this potential gap or issue in their business, and chances are you'll end up getting more information than you absolutely needed, and they'll be setting themselves up for a great presentation. So study the context, be interested in the context, and the questions will take care of themselves. For more on this or any questions you might have, feel free to reach out to me or any of the other consultants here at Newberger & Company. Thanks, and have a great day.